A very good afternoon, dear students. I hope you all are safe at your place. I, Professor Sonal Agrawal, welcome you all on the digital platform of Agrawal Vidya Vihar English Medium College. This is the lecture for the subject Banking Law and Practice Paper 2. As you know that in the last lecture we have covered the topic that is the forms of advances. Here in that we have discussed the four types of forms of advances. The first one is about the overdraft, second is cash credit, third is loan, and lastly we have discussed about the purchase or discounting of bills. I have also shared the material for the same in the Google Classroom, so you can check the materials also. And I have also shared the portion that is going to be asked for assignment purpose. So just check it also in the group. Now in the today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the types of advances, or you can say the classification of advances. Here we have discussed the four types of advances. That four types can be classified into the two categories. That is called the secured advance and unsecured advance. Again, I am repeating, we have discussed the four types of advances. That four types of advances can be classified into the two categories according to the section number 5 and of the Indian Banking Companies Regulation Act 1949. Here they are classified into the two categories. First one is the secured advance and the second one is the unsecured advance. We have discussed the four types. That first is the overdraft. We know that for the overdraft, the security is not required. So overdraft is in the under the category of unsecured advance. Then we have discussed about the cash credit. We discussed that of course for the cash credit we have to place the assets, and so the cash credit is a secured advance. Then third, we have discussed about the loans, and of course for the loan also the security is required. So that one is against the that is the secured one. And lastly, we have discussed about the discounting of bills, and for the discounting of bills, no security is required. So you can say it is a unsecured advance. But of course, yes, you have transferred the possession of your bills. But if on the maturity date, debtor is not going to pay, then of course there will be bad debt for the bank. So in this way, the types can be bifurcated into the secured advance and unsecured advance. Here, but no, we are not going to repeat about that 4 points. Here, this is a separate topic that we are going to start in the today's lecture. That is, you can say the classification of advances. So start with the first point, that is the secured advance. So the question arises that what do you mean by secured advance? So here I am telling the definition that the secured advance, according to the section number 5 of Banking Regulation Act 1949, that a loan or the advances means the secured advances means the loan or advance which is made on the security of the assets. Again, I am repeating. The secured advance means the loan or advance which is made on the security of the assets, and the market value of which should not be less than the amount of the such loan. As we know that two things are covered here. First thing, the secured advance is made on the security of the assets. The first thing, the security of asset is mandatory. The second thing, the market value of it should not be less than the amount of loan. Here we are talking about the market value of the assets. Here, the market value of that particular asset should not be less than the loan which is granted to the customer. Suppose the customer wants a loan of 10 lakh rupees. So the asset which is given as a security, the market value of that asset should not be less than the 10 lakh rupees. Here, of course, it should be more than the 10 lakh rupees, not equal to the 10 lakh rupees also. Here, it should not be less and it should not be equal also. It should be more than the 10 lakh rupees. So this is the basic, you can see the features also of the secured advance. The definition which I see, I am repeating again that this is the definition according to the Banking Regulation Act 1949. The simplest definition is written on the screen that you can see. A paragraph is written about the meaning of the secured loan. Just read the paragraph once. I hope it is done. Okay, so I'm just breaking the definition into some of the parts, so it will be easy to you to understand the definition. That secured loan is one of the loan categories which ask for the collateral. What do you mean by collateral here? Collateral means the security. Here it is a loan which asks for security against the loan money. Here if you want to take the loan, so the banker is going to ask you for to keep any asset as a security against the loan amount. The collateral can be anything from valuable jewelries, assets, property, as extras. Yeah, so it may be any tangible assets you can say. It is not compulsory that it must be movable one or it must be immovable one. Yeah, you can cap your any asset as a security with the banker, but that must be the tangible asset. You cannot cap your any intangible assets as a security. And when it is approved of secured loan, the banker or the lender will be holding a title of the collateral until you repay the loan amount in full. For example, a loan is taken by the customer, and in the security, the customer has transferred the possession of the property papers of house. Clear? So the customer has taken a loan on the security of house. So till the repayment of the loan amount, the banker is called the owner. The banker is holding the title. What do you mean by title here? Title means the ownership. The banker is holding the title of that particular house. Clear? So this is you can say again the features of the loan that till the repayment of the loan, the banker is the owner of that property. I hope it is clear. This is so simple. Why? Because we all aware about the loan facilities we all are using, and we have heard about this so many times. Clear. So that's why it is a very practical topic. I think it will be very easy for you to understand this topic. Now again, with the continue of the secured loans, some of the characteristics are there. The first thing is about the meaning that secured loan is a loan in which the borrower pays some assets. It may be any tangible assets, car, or the examples are given about the car or any other property as a collateral. Clear? Any asset you can cap as a security if you want to take the loan, if you want to take the secured loan. Clear? And second is the secured loans are the loan that rely on the asset as the collateral for the loan. Of course, yes, they rely on the assets. Why? Because if you are not having the assets, then you cannot go for the secured loan. Clear? If it is secured one, then of course the assets are must be there to kept as a security. So you can say that the secured loan are rely on the assets that is given as a collateral. The third one is in the event of the loan default, the lender can take the possession in the event of the loan default, the lender can take the possession of the assets and use it to cover the loan. Yeah. Now this is the third, you can say the characteristics. If the customer did become defaulty, then what the banker is going to be do, the asset which is kept by you as a security, the banker is going to use that assets. Here, what the banker will do, the banker will take the possession of that asset. Suppose, for an example, here we have taken the example of house. That house property papers is transferred to the banker. Here, in this situation, the banker will take the possession of that house, and the banker will sell that house to recover the loan amount with interest, not only the principal amount. The banker will recover the amount with interest. And the excess amount, suppose the market value of house is more than the loan amount with interest. Suppose the loan amount with interest is 10 lakh plus 1 lakh interest, total 11 lakh. Again, I am repeating, the loan amount is principal amount 10 lakh, interest amount 1 lakh, means the total amount to be recovered is 11 lakh rupees. And the market value of that house is suppose 15 lakh rupees. So 4 lakhs are extra amount here. So that excess amount is again given to the customer after covering the amount. The next feature is the interest rate of the secured loan may be lower as comparison to the unsecured loan. Of course, yes, the interest rate will be lower. Why? Because you kept your asset as a security. If the banker is having any security, then of course he is going to be charge you the lower rate of interest. Why? Because in case of secured advance, the banker is having the security, so the risk factor will be low. In case of unsecured advance, you didn't cap your any asset as a security. Of course, yes, the risk factor is high, and we know that whenever the risk factor will be high, then of course the rate of interest will be high. So because of that reason, the interest rates for the secured advances or the secured loans are low as comparison to the unsecured advances. The assets may need to be appraised before you can borrow a secured loan. Of course, yes. Appraised means the banker is going to find out the market value of your property. Here, suppose you kept your house as a security and you said that the market value of the house is, suppose you purchased the house before 20 years for an example here. So of course the in the property papers the amount which is written is not equal to the market value of that particular house nowadays. So what the banker is going to be do before accepting the security, the banker is going to find out the market value of that assets, and after finding out the market value of that asset by as own, the banker will keep that asset as a security. Here, suppose if you have kept your any jewelry as a security or anything else, here, so the banker is going to find out the real value of that property. After finding the real value, the banker is going to be use that property. Clear? I hope it is clear. The next, again the meaning is written that the secured borrowing includes mortgage or other loans which are linked to your house or another major asset. So one of the characteristics is there that it require a major assets. Here you require major assets. Why? Because generally the amount of the loan is high. Here amount of the secured loan is high, and of course you require a major asset, as we discussed that the market value of that asset must be more than the value of this loan amount. So of course you require a major assets to cap as a security. This type of loan is only available if you have the property or the major assets against which you can it can be secured. Here, if you are not having any major assets to cap as a security, then of course the banker is not going to give you the secured advances, or the banker is not going to you can say the access your or the permit your loan. So what we discussed here, we have discussed about the secured loans. Here, I hope the meaning is clear. One thing I want to say that here you can take the secured loan on the security of your term deposits also. I hope you know the meaning of term deposits. The deposit which are repayable after a particular period of time. The very common example is the FD, fixed deposit. Suppose you are having an FD of 20 lakh rupees that is going to be matured after 5 years. So of course the amount of the FD is big amount here, and the time period is 5 years. So of course if you want to take the loan, so you can take the loan on the security of that FD account, also on the security of that term deposit receipt also. Receipt means if you are having an FD, then of course yes you are having the receipt of that FD. That receipt is known as the term deposit receipt. So it is also an example of tangible assets. Then of course you can take the loan on the life policy. Here we have discussed that there are two types of policy: general insurance and life insurance. So on the basis of general insurance, you are not able to take the loan. But yes, of course, yes, on the basis of life insurance policy, on the security of life insurance policy, you can take the loan against with the banker. So this is again the example for you. Sometimes what happens that students are not able to understood clearly about the meaning of the property that should be kept as assets. I told in the starting that you can keep any tangible asset as a security. So here are the term deposit receipts, your life insurance policies. These all are also your you can say the tangible assets. So you can keep these assets also as a security. Even though you can cap the you can take the loan on the security of your shares if you are having on the security of bonds here, and sometimes gold loan is very famous here, so you can take the loan also on the security of gold loan. So you can take the loan on the security of any tangible assets with the condition that the market value of that assets must be higher than the loan amount. I hope it is clear to you all. Now next what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss about the unsecured loan. The question arises that what is the mean by unsecured loan? So here on the screen that you can see the meaning of the unsecured loan is written. Just read it once. I hope it is done. Okay. You might have come across the words that is a personal loan, and a personal loan means the unsecured loan. Why? Because these types of loan are given without any security, or you can say these are the collateral free loan. Clear? Collateral means security free loan. Clear? You don't require any asset to keep as a security with the banker. You can take these types of loan without having assets also, but which means it does not require offering anything. Anything means here any property against getting the loan. If you want to take the loan, so it doesn't require any property or any asset to keep as a security. That's why it is known as the unsecured loan. You have taken a loan on your personal basis, on your personal reputation without giving any security. So of course the risk factor is high. So here some of the important features are there. Starting with the meaning that unsecured loan doesn't have any assets for a collateral, means you don't require to cap your any asset as a security. Again, I'm repeating the collateral meaning the security. These loans may be more difficult to get and have the higher rate of interest. Why this is more difficult to get? Of course, yes, because the risk factor is high, so the banker is not going to grant you the loan, this types of loan very easily. The banker will go for a lengthy procedure. Lengthy means what? The banker is going to be check your capacity or your reputation. So that's why the banker is going to check this all these things. And if you are the reputed person, your creditability is very good, then only the banker is going to give this types of loan. Otherwise, the banker will reject your loan proposal. So that's why we can say that this types of loan is very difficult to get, and of course the rate of interest will be high, as we just discussed that in case of unsecured advance. You know that you are not capturing any asset as a security, so of course here the risk factor will be high, and because of that reason, if the risk factor is high, so of course the rate of interest is going to be high. Your unsecured loans rely solely on your credit history and your income to qualify you for the loans. Here, as I said, that it depends on your credit ability and it depends on also your reputation. If you are highly reputed person and your credit reputation is high, good in with the banker, then only you are going to get this type of loan. Otherwise, not. As you know, that very common example is about the credit card limits. Clear? If your creditability is good, then only you are getting the good credit card limit. Your limit is going to be extended as comparison to the your credit history. If you are paying the credit cards payment on time, then what the banker will do, the banker will increase the limit of your credit card. So this is you can say it is based on your credit history and of course on your income. But nowadays the credit card is available to all the person even though you are not having the account. But of course they are going to give you the credit card if you are you can say in a reputed post or in a reputed job. Just like you, if you are a doctor or if you are in a teaching field, then of course there is a regular source of income. If you are, you can say, if you are a salaried person, then there is a regular source of income, and on the basis of your income proof, your salary proof, the banker is easily going to give you the credit card. In case of default, the lender has to exhaust the collection option, including the debt collection and lawsuit to recover the amount. Now, the question arises that what the lender, what the banker is going to be do in case of default. Why? Because in case of secured loan, the banker can collect the amount out of the sales proceeding of the property which is given as a security. But here, we know that in case of unsecured advance, no property is given as a security. So now the question arises that what the banker is going to be do in case of default. So here, in case of default, the banker will file a case against the customer in the court, and the banker will take the legal action. And also, we have discussed about the banker's right of lion in the banking one. Here, so banker is also having the right of lion in case of unsecured advance. The banker can also take the possession of your property to recover the amount, even it is if it is an unsecured loan. The examples of the unsecured loan are given that credit and credit card debts. Here, this is a very common example. We nowadays all of the persons are enjoying this types of facilities. Personal loan. And of course, the next famous example is the bank overdraft. Here, if you have withdrawn excess amount from your current account, that excess amount is known as the bank overdraft. And lastly, the credit facility or the line of the credit. Here, sometimes the credit facility is given. It is a type of loan. Here, unsecured loan is also known as the credit facility. So this type of facility is given by the banker to the customer. Also, all are the examples of unsecured loans. Now the question arises that if suppose you are a very reputed person, your credit history is very good. So whether you should go for a secured advance or whether you should go for unsecured advance. Why? Because you can go for anyone. You are also having the security to kept. You are also having the property to kept as a security, so you can go for the secured advance also. And you are also having the good credit reputation with the banker. You are a reputed person. Then of course you can go for the unsecured advance also. So the question is that which option is better for you? So just read the paragraph once. Okay, what is written here that both secured and unsecured loans come with the pros and cons. Means secured advance and unsecured advance both are having advantages and disadvantages, as there will be always the two sides of coin. So it is important to know that for which circumstances you should borrow in the loan. Here, so for what circumstances, for which types of loan you should be go for, it is important to understand. Have a clear and thorough understanding of the difference between the secured and unsecured loan. So this will be more clear if you know the difference between the secured and unsecured loan. Why? Because since it is an important financial decision that the installation, why? Because if you have taken a loan, so that installment can go for a long time period or a long way. So that's why it is important to understand the difference between these two. Then only you can come to know that for what circumstances you should go for which type of loan, whether you should go for the secured loan or whether you should go for the unsecured loan. So this will be more clear when we will discuss the difference between the secured loan and unsecured loan. So now the next topic is the difference between the secured loan and unsecured loan. But this topic we are going to discuss in the next lecture. This is the end for the today's lecture. What we did in the today's lecture, we have started with the new topic, that is the I have didn't mention the heading here of the topic. The heading is the classification of advances. Here we have started the topic, that is classification of advances. According to the Banking Regulation Act, the advances are classified into the two categories, that is the secured loan or unsecured loan. You can also say the secured advance and unsecured advance. Here we have discussed about the secured advance, meaning some of the characteristics and example. After that we have discussed the unsecured advance, meaning characteristics and examples. This topic is over for today. From the next lecture we are going to discuss about the difference between the secured advance and unsecured advance. So now we are going to meet in the next lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe, start learning. Have a good day. Thank you.